It's On Your Side at 5:30. Starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Natasha Williams. Part of Ada Metro SWAT, the crisis negotiations team, is comprised of officers from the City of Meridian, Ada County Sheriff's Office, and Garden City Police Department. A Meridian patrol officer who is part of the negotiations team says he can be sent for a number of reasons, such as a domestic situation or a suicidal person. He can also be called in for larger incidents, like a hostage situation where a full team may respond. He says every situation is different, but the first priority is to communicate with the person they need to, whether that be calling them on their phone or face-to-face, which he says is not ideal. In some cases, they throw a phone into the home to communicate with them.
We're still trying to establish communication, because if somebody's talking with us, then they're not in a position to be focused on, say, a hostage, because our priority number one is the innocents and the hostages. That's above my safety, that's above the person we're dealing with, that's our priority one.
He says in his experience, negotiations have lasted anywhere from several hours to just a few minutes. Tonight at 10, we'll have more on how negotiators communicate to work towards the best possible outcome. A stretch of Highway 21 between Stanley and Lowman remains closed tonight. The Idaho Transportation Department decided to close the road to traffic Saturday due to heavy snow in the mountains, leaving avalanche concerns. Any drivers passing through the mountains will need to plan accordingly. To check the latest closures and conditions, you can always go to 511.idaho.gov or click the link in this story on our website, 6onyourside.com. Inside the State House, advocates for equal rights and the LGBT community are expected to spend the day Monday lobbying inside the Idaho State House. The groups plan to encourage Idaho lawmakers to add the words gender identity and sexual orientation to the Idaho Human Rights Act. On Friday, Democratic Senator Marianne Jordan of Boise reintroduced the legislation that would protect lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people from employment and housing discrimination in Idaho. Previous efforts to add the words have been blocked for more than a decade because the state's Republican-controlled legislature is concerned the change could infringe on religious freedoms. The Capitol will be a busy place tomorrow. A rally is planned along the State House steps to commemorate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Festivities will start around 8:30 a.m. at Boise State's Jordan Ballroom in the Student Union building, where anyone is welcome to come make posters for the march. Around 10:30, the crowd will march from Boise State down to the Capitol building, taking University Boulevard and then Capitol Boulevard. After the march, student speakers will kick off a rally on the State House steps. Then at noon, everyone will be invited inside to the Capitol Rotunda for a celebration honoring Idaho Human Rights Day. Now, as you make plans for your Monday, remember many offices and buildings will be closed for the federal holiday. Most schools and libraries will be closed tomorrow, along with county, state, and federal offices. All post offices and most banks will also be closed, with no regular mail deliveries Monday. However, all state liquor stores will be open, and trash pickup and public transportation should be running on normal schedules. In tonight's Making the Grade, a busy week ahead, aiming to embrace the importance of offering Idaho students different ways they can receive an education. Nationwide, more than 40,000 activities are scheduled during School Choice Week. Here in the Treasure Valley, events will range from open houses and school fairs and homeschool information sessions. Educators hope to show parents the many options available in our communities.
Each kid learns different, so what works good for one kid may not work good for another kid, and some kids don't thrive in public school the traditional way, but they thrive in a different environment. So I think as we give the options to help each kid learn the best, our kids will be more successful, and that will help our society as a whole.
If you want to download a guide to the events hosted this week in Idaho, click this story on our website, 6onyourside.com. Well, a local nonprofit is seeing something a little unusual for this time of year. St. Vincent de Paul normally sees a drop-off in donations in January, but this year they've seen a surge. The executive director says they partially attribute the trend to a new Netflix series, which started in the beginning of January, called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. As part of the show, Kondo goes into people's homes to help them declutter their lives, and it seems like others here are following suit.
What you're seeing is certainly on the processing end, things have picked up. It looks good. We're pleased, and we're hopeful that it is actually going to translate into increased sales and our ability to be able to help even more people through that.
May save the May says they've had to move things around to make room for more new donations. He also says this comes at a good time because more people are finding themselves in need of assistance due to the government shutdown. While a Boise staple is going to see some improvements, the famous Smurf turf at Boise State will be refreshed this year. The Idaho Statesman reports the university has received permission from Idaho's Permanent Building Fund Advisory Council to spend $600,000 to replace the turf at Albertson Stadium. BSU's athletic director says the artificial turf is nearing the end of its expected lifespan. Fields usually last 8 to 10 years, and the current turf was installed back in 2010. Still ahead on 6 on Your Side, a major winter storm is blanketing the northeast with snow and ice, leaving behind frigid sub-zero conditions. We'll have the latest coming up.